All right. If you're one of the millions of people who love scoring those unbelievable deals on sites like Shein or Temu, you're going to want to pay close attention. Europe is right on the edge of a massive overhaul of its customs system, and it is going to change online shopping as we know it. So let's get into it. First, let's just start with a number that is, well, it's almost impossible to picture. 4.6 billion? That's the estimated number of low-value packages that flooded into the EU in 2024. And get this, that's triple the amount from just 2 years ago. We are literally talking about a tsunami of small parcels. And this isn't just a headache for the post office. It's a system that's at its breaking point. But it's not just about the sheer volume. There's a huge financial problem here, too. Some estimates suggest that a jaw-dropping 65% of these packages are being deliberately undervalued just to dodge taxes. So what's the EU's big plan to fix this? Well, the first part is to create a brand new, powerful central agency to police the bloc's borders. And it's called the European Union Customs Authority, or EUCA for short. You can basically think of it as a new sheriff in town for all European trade. Now, I know what you're thinking. A customs agency doesn't exactly sound like the World Cup. But the creation of EUCA has kicked off this surprisingly fierce continent-wide competition. So why on earth is every country suddenly scrambling to be its host? Well, the stakes are incredibly high. The city that wins gets way more than just bragging rights and an economic boost. They get a huge amount of influence over the future of all EU trade. They become the nerve center for all customs data, the hub for experts in risk analysis. It's a really big deal. And the main contenders really show what's at play here. You've got France, pushing Lille as the political choice, right next to the EU's power center in Brussels. Then there's the Netherlands, making the practical case for Rotterdam, which is already a logistics titan. And then you have Spain, pitching Malaga as the modern, tech-savvy option. It's a fascinating clash between politics, logistics, and technology. Okay, now let's talk about the part of this reform that's going to hit your wallet the hardest. This is about the end of a long-standing rule that has pretty much fueled the entire online bargain hunting economy for years. For a long time, something called the de minimis rule meant that any package valued under 150 euros could zip into the EU without any customs duties. It was a tax-free fast lane. Well, that's all about to end. Starting in early 2026, that tax-free ride is officially over. Every single package, no matter how cheap, is going to get hit with customs duties. The loophole is being slammed shut. And this quote from the Swedish Trade Federation really just says it all. Retailers inside the EU have been complaining for years that this rule gave giants like Shein and Temu a totally unfair advantage. For them, this reform is all about leveling a very tilted playing field. But hold on, the changes don't stop there. Because on top of those new customs duties, the EU is also tacking on another brand new fee that's going to be applied to every single one of those packages. And that new cost is a standardized handling fee, right around 2 euros. The idea here is to help cover the enormous administrative cost of processing literally millions of individual customs forms. It's also meant to stop these big platforms from border shopping, funneling all their parcels through whichever EU country has the cheapest fees. So what does all of this actually look like when you go to checkout? Well, let's take a simple example. A t-shirt you bought for 10 euros used to cost, 10 euros. Now you're going to have to add VAT, a new customs duty, and that 2 euro handling fee on top. Suddenly, your 10 euro bargain is going to cost you something like 13 euros and 50 cents. That's a price hike of over 30%. So we know the costs are going up, but the EU's third big move is all about who is responsible for paying them, and they are shifting that burden directly onto the shoulders of the e-commerce platforms themselves. To do this, they're creating a new legal concept called the deemed importer, and this is a total game changer. It basically means that from now on, the platforms, your Amazons, your Sheins, your Temas, are legally on the hook for making sure all those customs duties and taxes are paid. The responsibility is no longer on you, the shopper. So, here's the bottom line. The old way often meant you'd get that annoying surprise bill from the courier saying you owe extra money before they'll even give you your package. The new way demands total transparency. The price you see at checkout has to be the final price, all taxes and fees included. No more hidden charges. And just so you know, this isn't some far-off idea. The wheels are already turning. We expect the final political agreements to be locked in by the end of 2025. Then, in early 2026, the tax-free rule disappears and the new fees kick in. By 2028, the whole system will be running on a new central EU data hub. Okay, so with all of these massive changes coming down the pike, what's the real-world impact going to be? Let's break down what this new cost of clicks really means for everyone involved, from shoppers to shippers. For you, the shopper, it means your cheap goods are about to get more expensive, but at least you won't have surprise fees. For the platforms, their whole business model is getting squeezed. For logistics companies, it probably means the end of flying millions of tiny packages and a shift to bulk shipping. And for local EU businesses, well, they finally get a shot at competing more fairly. So let's just quickly recap the whole transformation. The €15 tax fee limit, gone. A new €2 handling fee, that's in. Who's responsible for the fees? The online platform. And all those separate, clunky national IT systems, they're being replaced by one single EU hub. This really is a top-to-bottom overhaul. Which, of course, brings us to the big, final question. Is this the end of the line for the online bargain bin as we know it? Or is this the beginning of a digital market that's actually fairer for everyone? The future of e-commerce in Europe is about to be rewritten, and we're all going to find out the answer starting in 2026.